Uko kuno aho pano mama wanna get it nice I know Buddha meso I know Buddha tebe I know kaya marigi kama kweto tikom kweto tikom usasai kama kwe anogaya mari
kamba kwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari garai mamunzwa paninya pano zvamnoda kunzwa zvinotaura pano madiko kumunzwa muku.
Right, 20 August 2022, and today I'm joined by my usual guest on Saturdays, Senator Khaliphani Phugeni. How are you, Senator?
I'm good. How are you, my friend? And good evening, good day, good morning to our listeners, to wherever they may be in the world.
Fantastic. And Senator, today we're going to be very, very quick. There has been a shocking announcement today, and everyone is complaining of the fees for elections. Take me through these fees. What is happening here?
Well, just for those who like things, who maybe let me not say like things, no. Just for those who may be joining us for the first time or those who are not regulars, I'm representing myself. I don't speak on behalf of Zeki or any organization or any individual. I'm just speaking on behalf of myself, not even Fana. He still thinks that Ronaldo is better than Messi, although all the scientific evidence I give him, he dismisses it. He doesn't get punished. He's not loved less. He doesn't get criticized. He's got all of his rights. So if you think what I'm saying you don't like or doesn't make sense or whatever, you are free. The king was coronated today, so you can tune there or find something to do. But we have our loyal people here who are waiting to hear from us every Saturday evening. So those are the people we are broadcasting for. Right. You know, I think you've just shown a tweet by Prof. Madugu, did you?
I just showed the prizes. This was actually from the ZEC. I took this from ZEC.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, look, I thought you showed the tweet from Prof. Madugu. Do you have it? Maybe show it just so that people could understand where one is coming from.
Okay, let me look for it and I will display it as we go.
All right. Okay. Right. The tweet reads like this: excessive, undemocratic, and unconstitutional. ZEC fails to appreciate that a free and fair election starts from that being a candidate must not be unaffordable to an ordinary politician. The amount must be substantially reduced. 500,000 for a party to field all candidates. Then question mark. Now you know I like Professor Madugu. In fact, I don't like him. I love Professor Madugu. I think he must be added to the wonders of the world. He's a rare breed. He's a special gift to our country. But I think he's wrong on this one, and I'll demonstrate. ZEC needs to do a balancing act here of making elections affordable, but at the same time making sure that they are of high quality, so that we don't affect the integrity and the ability for the administrators to run a tight machine. Let me just demonstrate why that is not the case, what he has written here. There are by-elections that, let me not even, before I go to by-elections, in 2018, there were about 20-something parties or organizations or individuals that participated in the national stage. Of the 20-something that participated, only 2 parties managed to field candidates throughout the country. And that was ZANU-PF and then MTC Alliance, as it was constituted then. So it's only those 2 parties. The one which came third, which was Dr. Kupe's party, which I belonged to, couldn't even field sufficient candidates, both in Matabeleland South and Matabeleland North for the PR. And the issue was not fees. Right? The issue was not fees. The issue was always ability and capacity to attract candidates. In Dr. Kupe's case, it was understandable because she had basically less than 2 months to form a party, or rather constitute a party after there was that split and do whatever she needed to do. The rest of the folks, they always knew that they were going to run. They always had their organizations, but they didn't have that capacity to field candidates. Let me come to what is happening currently. What is happening currently is there are by-elections throughout the country. And so far, there are 2 parties that are consistently fielding candidates throughout the country. That's ZANU-PF and the CCC. Others do field here and there, but there is no consistency in competing for every available seat. And the amount to participate, they are laughable, pardon. They are laughable right now. The amount anyone can afford, that even a primary school child can afford to pay. And parties are not participating. Right. So where is value in having 24 people compete for a constituency? Some of them couldn't even get a single vote. That brings to question the quality of the vote and the quality of that democracy. People were so tired because they had 24 campaign flyers in their letterboxes and underneath their doors. 24. So that crowds out, basically, those that really stand the chance, those that really mean it. So I really agree with Zek. There may be reason and need here and there to make some small changes. But to be quite honest with you, with the expectations coming from people, what Zek is supposed to do, they ought to make sure that they make it, people must have a skin in the game, so to speak. If you want to participate, you must show cause, why you are dedicated, why you are interested. I think there may need to be a trade-off where maybe they bring down the fees, but make sure that the threshold for one to be nominated must be at least 5% of the electorate in that voters' roll. But to say that you just need 10 people to nominate you to be a candidate, and I think for presidents, I think it's about 100 or so. It might even be less. And then people just jump in there. Look at Kenya, they just ended elections. We had only 4 candidates. And Kenya, I think, is about 3 to 4 times bigger than us in terms of population. And even amongst those 4 candidates, only 2 really were candidates. The other 2, it was just a joke. So to safeguard the quality of our democracy, it must not be almost a child's play. You must have skin in the game. You must really mean it. I just sent you something on your app. I don't know if you saw. There's some other party now that you have it there. Maybe if you can display it, just to see what I'm talking about. Honestly speaking, we need seriousness here. We are looking for a government. We want people who are going to run the country.
Okay, I'm going to display it as we go, Senator, but
Yeah.
I want us to quickly wrap this up. I think it's clear there is a big misunderstanding amongst the Zimbabweans about what it means to be a candidate. and the implications on the ballot paper. You saw that in Kenya, there were 4 people on the ballot paper. But in Zimbabwe, there were 24 or 25, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 20,
to me,
24.
Yeah, to me, that does not make sense. To have 25 people there, especially in a manual process, and the implications on arrangement of candidates is massive. So I do agree with you. Yeah.
You're talking arrangement of candidates. You should have come in my constituents. There were 23 roundabout presidential candidates, right? 24 members of parliament candidates, right?
Yes.
I can't remember the councillors also, many also. So then imagine the election observers, the election agents and whatsoever. They couldn't fit in a classroom. They just could not fit in a classroom. Because if all the presidential candidates must have an election agent, which they must, you're already talking 23, 24 there. If all the members of parliament candidates needed to have the agents, which they must, you are also talking another 24. So we're already sitting at 50. Then you bring councillors. That thing takes you to 60, 70. Now then there are the police. Then there is ZEC. Yeah? Then police, then ZEC, then observers from the European Union, from SADC, from all over. The whole thing was a joke, Kambako. You could not claim to have produced something of high quality from that. So these are the characters that you'll have to contend with. Everyone else is just going to come because it's 10 Zimbabwean dollars to register, and you need about 5 or 10 people to nominate you, and that's it. What type of an election is that? In South Africa, where you are right now, the EFF found it the hard way in 2014 when they wanted to contest. They found that they need to pay $500,000. And that is when then they got the guy who deals in cigarettes, Mazotti, to pay for them to be able to participate. It must not be easy. That's why you see them today doing the things that they are doing, because they have skin in the game. It means a lot to them. This is not a Mickey Mouse. Today, people are mourning about Pollard, but this is what produces all those type of parties, because you're just opening the floodgates. Anyone just come, and when that happens, you compromise the quality of our democracy.
Okay, Senator, I want to take you to the post by CCC spokeswoman Fadzai Mahere, and I want us to discuss her opinions here. Why is she having this view? Why is the CCC behaving or believing that these fees are not right, given what you've just said now?
You must enlarge. I'm getting old, Kambako, so my eyes are not as good as that of a young boy.
I'm trying my best. These are the small screens that we have here. So let me make this bigger. Right.
No, I can see now.
So Fadzai Mahere says, and I love Fadzai, by the way. I don't hate her at all. I know I always make a lot of statements about her so often, and you have warned me in the past. So here she says the astronomical increase in candidate nomination and voters' roll fees is grossly irrational, exclusionary, and an attack on the right to make political choices. The attempt to stop ordinary Zimbabweans from participating in elections undermines the essence of a free and fair election. Do you agree with this, Senator? I don't know what is the basis of this, but this is the view of the CC.
No, she is wrong. She might not appreciate the administrative burden that ZEC has to deal with. And by this, ZEC is trying to minimize the administrative burden. Remember, we are the ones, again, who are impatient. A day or so after, in fact, not even a day, less than 24 hours after voting, we want the results. When we have 24 presidential candidates, in some cases 24 MPs, 15 to 20 something councillors, some of them getting 1, some of them 2, some of them 0, and all those things. All of that is then thrown at the door of ZEC to administratively deal with all of that within a short space of time. It is not fair. It is not right. It is unreasonable. It is unreasonable. I think if anything that is unreasonable is for Zimbabweans to think that people can pay for less than $1 US dollar to register to be a candidate and open the floodgates and also bring down the number. Look at the United States of America. You go through primaries, my friend. You go through serious primaries and they bring down the number to just 2 candidates. In most cases, end up being 2 candidates. If there's an independent, it's just 1 independent or 2 independent. And so at the very most, it's only 4 people that are contesting each other. It's abnormal, this thing of having 20, 30 something candidates. So she is wrong. I don't think she appreciates that it is difficult to expect ZEC to deliver under those circumstances. Another thing, again, ZEC also owes the nation an explanation. It is not good for ZEC just to be taking these decisions and just keeping silent. They ought to be out there communicating what informed this. Right now, we're speculating because, in my view, I think they're avoiding a situation where a large chunk of their budget is financed by donor community and foreign nations. I think they're trying to keep this thing in-house so then they are able to manage elections which have no influence from outside. But this is just speculation because, unfortunately, ZEC just gazettes this and just keeps quiet. They ought to be out there explaining to the nation why it was necessary. I think it was necessary because I've always held this view. I'm not sure if I did come across, if I did put across these views on this platform. But if you ask Prof. Matugu during the polar days, I did tell him, I had a large conversation with him, and I said, look, you got to find a threshold that will at least ensure that we have quality. We can't be attracting every riffraff that just comes and think that you are going to have an outcome of a high quality.
Okay, and I'm displaying this here: presidential nomination 20,000, MP 1,000, Senate and Council 100, and then the official documents: observer accreditation 100 to 400, voters row $10 to 200. I actually think the presidential should be 1 million. I don't think they should have 20,000 there.
Well, I'm sitting on 10,000 right, 10,000 US dollars right now. I'm looking for the next 10,000 because I'm serious about this thing. If you're serious about this thing, you ought to raise such monies. You must be serious. You know, some of the candidates that were there in 2018, they were not even living in this country. They came a week or two before the election. They got someone to register. They met the electoral court. They come a week or two. They go around eating cane, around taxis and whatsoever. No poster, no nothing. They're taking this whole thing like it's a joke, man. And all of that administrative burden is just left at the door or the table of ZEC to deal with. And at the same time, people are impatient. They want results. Look, we ought to deal with all of these things. Let's only have the serious people. It will also help convergence, convergence of political parties. This whole supermarket of parties doesn't help. So if you realize that these fees are exorbitant, they are too high, they're exclusionary, maybe that's high time that political parties converge. And then you have the ruling party, and then you have the opposition party, and let's go.
Okay, Senator, this has been a very interesting discussion, and I hope that the CC gets to see what you're saying, because I understand. I tend to think that our biggest opposition party, they tend to go out and oppose something just because it came from ZEC. They don't actually apply their mind to such a thing. This is my belief here. I think you, according to what you're saying, they have not understood what it means to have all these candidates. 23 candidates, it's bad for the election. And I think it's also bad for CC to be contesting with all these people.
No, but why CC? Because even Prof. Matugu also holds a different view. So I don't want to communicate to a specific party and whatever. Remember, I said these are my views. These are my views those individuals that are interested in my views are listening to them. I don't want to address any political formation or gathering. I'm just saying, if you're expecting a very reliable IT system that is going to administer our party, our elections, if you are expecting people of integrity, people of efficiency and good standing who are able and professionalism who are able to run elections, we ought to be able to raise money to pay them fairly, give them proper work to deal with. Why should they count 20 ballots that are filled with zeros and sevens and whatever? Eliminate all of that. Let people deal with real people who stand a real chance of being elected. Why should we entertain 22 to 23 people that don't stand a chance at all to be elected? Because that's what the results show. The results show that only 3 candidates deserved, 3 at the very most 4, deserved to be in that ballot in the 2018 elections. The rest was just a waste of time, waste of money, waste of resource, waste of emotions. No, this is not child's play. This is a contest to run the country, Kambab. It's a contest to run the country. Why are we allowing anything and everything? Do you know that everyone would like to be at university? Everyone would love to be at university, but you're not going to get there before you go through your A level. You are not. So why do we think that anyone must just wake up and say, "Ah, look, I just want to run this country. What am I going to put? I'm just going to put 100. So I'm just going to put $1 equivalent of $1, and then I'm in." There's another criticism that I saw, and let me maybe try and attend to it. I'm saying, why are the fees in US dollars? No, the fees are not going to be paid in US dollars. If you want, you can pay them in US dollars, but they are going to be paid in the equivalent of Zimbabwean dollar. They are doing this just to cushion against inflation. But I asked the minister a question on Thursday in Parliament, the Minister of Finance, and he was clear that everything that is denominated in US dollars in this country is payable using the auction rate in a local currency, and anyone who refuses that will be penalized with civil punitive measures. Civil simply means that they will be charged a fine. So they won't go to prison, but they will be charged a fine. He told us that there are some shops that he is penalized for up to I think $60,000 for selling using a parallel rate. So even here, you now know the price. You can pay in Zim dollars. It will just be the equivalent then by the time when you pay of these US dollars. So it's a good move. This is on condition that the reasons I'm advancing are the ones why ZEC took this move. But it's incumbent upon them really to come out and educate us why they thought they needed to hike these fees. But I think the whole thing was a joke. You needed to increase the threshold. You really need to make sure that the quality of our democracy is improved.
Okay, Senator, before we close, I want to just address the issue of why I mentioned CC. I mentioned CC because Mahere actually went out and responded to the announcement. So the other guys have not announced or responded to it. So that's why I personally said CC, and I'm looking at the opinions that they've given out there to say this is bad for democracy. I don't think it's bad for democracy because it's the guy who's contesting, not the guy who's voting. So that was what I meant here. And maybe we'll get more responses tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe for CC, maybe they are justified because like I told you, remember they are contesting everywhere. They are contesting everywhere. I do not know of any vacant post which they didn't contest. I know that there are others which they contested, they lost, but that did not deter them from contesting going forward. So maybe they have reason because they are there. But those who are not contesting right now, they can't raise this fees issue as a barrier to contestation, to democracy and all those things. No, No, because right now the fees are extremely low and people are not participating. That's just an excuse. It's people who just want to involve themselves in things which they know themselves that they don't stand a chance at all. And why should we burden our electoral administration, administrative processes with people that they themselves know that they don't stand a chance? They have no skin in the game. They have no skin in the game. If you are serious about this, you ought to put what we call skin in the game and make sure that you stand a chance. Look, if you don't have money, to pay to participate, where are you going to get money to campaign? Because there's campaigning,
You're right.
remember. You must go out there.
You're right.
And there's a lot of resources. So we don't want people who have no resources whatsoever. No, go out there, go and borrow this money. If you have borrowed this money, you're going to be extremely, extremely serious. I don't even know why they are making so much noise. You know that for you to receive political funding, you must have reached a threshold of 5%. You know,
True.
so those who participate and don't get get into the system, they get nothing. They are not complaining about that. The reason why there's that threshold of 5%, they want to make sure that you don't burden the administrative arm of this democracy by just small things that really don't amount to anything that affect our quality negative. So I support that 5%. You might want to reduce the fees, but make sure that anyone who wants to participate has a minimum nomination of 5%, so that we don't just get every Mickey Mouse candidate that just wants to go there. They wake up in the morning, they decide, they said the elections in Zimbabwe, let me just go and participate, when they know that they didn't do the legwork, they're not serious about this thing. After they've caused they've clogged our systems, they go back to the diaspora and live there. No, we don't want that nonsense.
I think this is an exciting development, Senator. Out of the 23 candidates that contested last time in 2018, I foresee only 4 or 5, especially if Zek was to take my suggestion and push up the presidential fee to 1 million. I think they need to do that. I don't think 20,000 is enough for presidential. I think MP is fine at 1,000, but the presidential, I honestly think they need to put this at $1 million. That will really leave the real guys there.
Pardon. I saw a question here, Senator, what is democracy? You know, they don't understand. Democracy does not necessarily mean that you come here and say, when we say anyone who wants to contest to be a president, just come. You really can't have 50,000 people registering. Others who don't even stand a chance, who don't know. It's not a phenomenon here in Zimbabwe only, by the way. I said to you, in South Africa in 2014, I don't know now, in 2014, when the EFF wanted to contest, they learned it the hard way, that they needed 500,000 rand. And you can see that all those parties which have a skin in the game, they are surviving. Because once you put all of that money, you are going to put boots on the ground and work extremely hard to make sure that you achieve something. But you really can't have people who never participated even in a small election in class or at school, you know, even in church. And then the next thing that they want to do is to come and run to be the president of this country, because it's equivalent to what? To maximum 10 US dollars. No, we don't want that. We really don't want that. So the 20,000, I'm happy with the 20,000, by the way, because remember the other accusation. Those who run are always accused of being ZANU projects, being bought by ZANU. So if that accusation is true, then ZANU will have to fork a lot of money. Maybe your suggestion is even better. So that whichever puppet candidate, because we're all told that these are puppet candidates from ZANU and whatsoever. So if ZANU has puppet candidates that they are putting in these elections, let them fork money. So actually the opposition must celebrate this. We must celebrate this as the opposition, because then, which means that if ZANU has to put their puppet candidates, then they must fork a lot of money. It must cost them.
Okay, Senator, I really enjoyed talking to you, and I think let's bring this to an end. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
Yeah, I was involved in an interview this week at Heart and Soul Radio and TV about SRHR. Well, I don't want to get into that now. You can go and watch the interview. But what struck me there was that the deaths which we have in the maternity wards are not due to anything else than lack of blood. And so our blood bank is empty. They used to get a lot of their blood from students, and because of COVID, universities were closed, high schools were closed, so the blood bank is empty. And so we are losing lives. I think per 100,000, we're losing about 200 and something. 100,000, we're losing about 2,000 and something per 100,000. And the doctor who was sharing a platform with me said, if we can get supplies of blood from donors, we will save a lot of lives. So I'm challenging everyone. Those of you who are in the diaspora, phone your family people, go and donate blood. Those of you who are watching me from Zimbabwe, please, starting from Monday, if they are open tomorrow, starting from tomorrow, let's go and donate a pint or two, and let's make it a habit. If you can, if the law allows it and their regulations allow it, donate every week. If you can, at least once a month, let's donate blood and save lives there. It doesn't cost anything really. You just go and donate. They'll give you a Mazoe or something to replenish your blood supplies, and that's it. So I'm challenging as Zimbabweans, let's go and donate blood and save lives.
Okay, and I'm sure that everyone understands how important blood is. If a woman is giving birth, she needs blood. If someone is getting an op, they need blood. If someone is involved in an accident, they need blood. There's so many uses of this blood. So obviously, let's get guys to go out there and donate. Thank you very much, Senator. Let's talk again next week. And tomorrow we've got another party, Forest Party of Zimbabwe. It's coming very, very big, this party. Let's watch that tomorrow. I hope they'll be able to raise the 20,000.
Yeah, I was about to go there. I was raise the 20,000 and raise 1,000 per MP. The one for councillors must be raised, by the way, to at least 500. We must just raise this. We must just not be running some child play here. We must make sure that the quality of our democracy is safeguarded. Like I'm saying, I'm willing for a trade-off where if you're going to bring down the fees, you raise the threshold for one to be duly nominated.
Okay, thank you very much, Senator, and we'll talk again next week. Good night, everybody.
Cheers, mate. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Uyo, uko, kuno, abo, bano. Mama wanna get it, nice. I know Buddha meso, I know Buddha tebe, I know kaya marigi. Kama kweto tikomo, kweto tikomo usafari.
Kamba kwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari garai mamunzwa pane nyaya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa mugovane.com. Kamba kwe vanogaya mari vanotaura mari vanoziya mari. Kamba kwe vanotaura feya kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei. Vanhu terere zvikubatsirei mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsirei. Mirai ndikudze kuti chokwadi pano chizere. Kamba kwe vanogaya cash vanopa mafacts vanotaura straight vane evidence vane confidence plus intelligence
Entertainment, current affairs and news. Kamba kwe.com. Usasarire, kamba kwe anugaya.